All right. Hey, you can call me one. Okay. Now, I was gonna go with a symbol just like Prince because when we get to a symbol, especially one that's never been used before, that's going to eliminate miscommunication. Because that's what happened with a whole bunch of things. Anyway, communication is very important, and anytime you have communication, there's a small degree of miscommunication. So you just call me one. If you want, you can call me Aka. If you want me to call you Craig. If you want me to call you you can call me that crazy banana hammock wearing guy. I don't really care because, although you think I'm me and you are you, we are one and the same, you see. Anyway, Todd White, I was just listening to his Fire-Filled Life, awesome video, an hour video, check it out, about him starting a church now. And, I swear I've only listened to 40 minutes of that guy speaking, and I bet you I know all of his content. Because the same thing that happened to him has happened to me. Happened to me on May 19th, 2019, and that's the first time the Holy Spirit, as he refers to it, jumped into me, and ever since then I've been doing what I'm doing, and I'm not going to stop. Anyway, my testimony is this, and a lot of your minds are going to go down the path of, wow, bad luck, or sympathy, or something like that. Now let me tell you what my dad used to always say. Sympathy is somewhere in the middle of shit and syphilis in the dictionary. And I'll just be honest with you, I don't want any three of them. So don't give me any sympathy. I'm not asking for sympathy. That's not what I'm about. But I do need to tell you, why my demeanor's a little bit maybe rushed or frantic. Maybe why I missed some things. Just give you a little bit of background on the situation. Because in the last 6 months, I have went from a net worth of probably $3.5 million to maybe negative 100,000. I've had every single thing I own stolen from me, including my identity. I've had bank accounts opened in my name. I've had cars purchased in my name, which I don't own. I had my cryptocurrency assets stolen through a proxy server hack, so they've actually been able to steal everything that is going through my internet. I have been assaulted by the police. I've been in jail 3 times for absolutely craziness situations. I got an $800 ticket for running a red light on a bicycle in the middle of the night with no traffic to be seen. It took 3 units with 6 officers 2 hours to write that ticket. Sober as a church. I was getting, I think I was getting butter because I was making cookies. Even though I told them I had stuff in the oven and the oven was on, it still took them 2 hours. I got arrested in a bottle depot and spent 8 hours in cells for, I'm not sure what that one was about. And then the last one was an amazing one. This one I spent 12 hours in cells. I got arrested when the taxi driver that called the police about the victim who was stealing things from my house. I can't even explain it. Anyway, a lady was stealing things from my house, and when I walked up to my house, I saw this taxi driver stand outside on the sidewalk. I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, are you another person stealing stuff from me? Come on. And he's like, no. He's like, the lady, I'm a taxi driver. He's like, the lady I'm driving, I think, is stealing. She broke into that house. I'm like, well, that's my house. And so then she walks out, and I'm like, you can't be stealing stuff again. Like, you're not allowed to be here. Like, you got kicked out. You were a squatter for how many months? You have ruined my house. You've ruined my life. You can't be here anymore. Like, you got a damage deposit back that you never paid. You gotta go. Then she assaulted me, and then the next day she put her restraining order on me. Like, wow, but whatever. I've had 2 dogs stolen from me from the city of Kelowna here in the last 6 months. Cars, motorcycles, boats, you name it. Now let me tell you why. And I've got enough proof to point the connections pretty strongly. You see, I heard some stories that I didn't like, and they brought tears to my eyes as a father. And I couldn't not do anything about it. And I heard this story now so many times that it's a pattern. And I hate to tell it to you, but here's what happens to a lot of girls in the city of Kelowna, from a boyfriend or a husband or, a significant other, when they get sold. So they typically get put into a basement for 4 days or so, 4 to 6 days. They get gang raped, and they get fed nothing other than cigarettes, alcohol, and fentanyl. Now they call it down, and then they try to fool themselves to think that it's heroin, but it's not any heroin, it's just fentanyl. Sometimes they'll give them crystal meth, but usually they just give them down and get them really hooked on down, and that numbs the pain from the rape too. So it's kind of like morphine. They're on a morphine high for 4 to 6 days, and then after, they're given such high doses after they come off, they need it. Like, it hurts to come off. So then when they're at that point, that's when they'll start seeing if they can get some food. If they get some food, cool. And as long as they get the drugs, they're good. And then that's when they get put into hotel rooms. Okay, so when they're put into a hotel room, they're usually billed out for about $200 to $300 an hour. Of that money, the girl maybe gets $100 an hour of that hour's fee, and probably she uses more of that in drugs to perform the job. So she probably doesn't get anything. Now, that is so commonplace that it would scare you. There's a lot of raping going on in the city of Kelowna. A lot. Just look at the amount of girls go missing. Look at the amount of complaints. And imagine the ones that don't get reported or get scoffed at. It is absolutely crazy. Here in the heart of the Okanagan, the stories are absolutely heartbreaking. And that's what I got myself into. And I was like, hey, that's fucked up. You know, I don't live by many rules. My rules are no women, no children, no innocent. And it seems like that's all bad. And I'm going to put a stop to that. How am I going to put a stop to that? Let me think. Geez, I just saw some news article about Pornhub, and they had to upgrade their servers as a result of COVID because of all the online sex consumption, video cams and live sex shows. And then I looked at Asia. Asia's just this booming market for it. And I happen to speak Chinese. I met some people over there online and did a little bit of tinkering around, did some research. And I'm like, holy man, these girls would make a lot of money if they did this. And then I set them up with cryptocurrency accounts. And then I thought, you know what, I went onto the website that all of them use here, and I called up a girl. I'm like, hey, yep, come over to my house. Yep, for an hour. Yep, sure, $300. Yep, sure, yep, whatever. Come over, and I'm like, here's a laptop. Here's all this stuff. Here's the passwords. Here's how you use it. Here's what you do. Watch this. Okay, this is online sex shows. There's no Johns involved. Now there's some of them that are couples, and then there's some there's multi-people and all that kind of stuff, but the ones that I'm talking about, it was like one girl. Most of the time it was just dancing. It was like Facebook safe, and they get paid by the minute or by the hour, and then they set up private rooms and they do whatever they want. And then I tried to teach them a little bit about crypto trading and using a bot to just trade. And, my calculations, let's say they didn't use any drugs, okay? So they didn't use that $100 of profit that they were making, that 30% or whatever. And they get to keep it all. I predicted they'd make more money in probably, 2 weeks than they would in 2 months working in a hotel. And I guess my name got out. Because next thing you know, I've got call girls calling me saying, hey, I'm homeless. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. Give me the sob stories. Like, can you help me out? I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah. Sure, fuck, where are you? Fuck. And so I go to help these people out. Now, what I do know about some of the biggest industries in the world, one of them is human trafficking, and the second one is drugs. And what I know about the city of the Okanagan here, Kelowna, is that there's a lot of good angels and there's a lot of bad angels. And I'm not talking about Hell's Angels that are good and Hell's Angels that are bad, because there's a lot of good Hell's Angels, but now there's a new generation, the young generation, just like the angels in the churches, the angels in the courts, the angels in the hospitals, the angels, the young generation, the angels in law enforcement. The younger generation is a little different. And what I can tell you is that there's a lot of money in humans and drugs. More money than you could imagine. And ever since COVID came, those industries are booming like they've never boomed before. Nobody's working and the government's giving out free money and they're printing free money. And when you got a greasy, dirty fucking rat that has no morals, that sees nothing wrong with raping and selling women, that rat doesn't get very happy when somebody starts to take away its cheese. And I must have been pretty successful, because that rat came hunting for me. And so, a girl from Kamloops ran into me randomly at a gas station, and I just started talking and asked me directions and blah blah blah, and then she told me why, and told me she was paying like $3,500 a week for a bed and breakfast, and I'm like, well, isn't that nuts? Just so happens I have one. And she's like, well, yeah, but these people are making me watch them have sex and stuff like that. It's crazy, but I got a dog, so it's the only place I can go. I'm like, wow, Christ, I got a dog. As long as your dog gets along with mine, it'll be fine. So, a couple days later, I have the start of the proxy server hack and the security system put into my house. And she paid this one. She paid for quite some time. And then she told the story about how she'd lost her daughter, her son, and how this guy rapes her and does all these kinds of things with her and blackmails her and da-da-da-da. And I said, that's just fucking bullshit. I said, like, I'm a farm dude. Let me, like, no. Like, you know where this guy lives? Like, go get your shit right now. Like, that's done. Like, done. And it didn't take 15 minutes. And we were over at his door. Like, buddy, fuck that shit. Give her stuff now or you're done. And it all worked. So I thought. But did I ever think of the fact that the two of them were in cahoots? No, I didn't. So then after that, another young girl who's hooked on drugs moves into my house needing help, homeless again. Duffel bag with everything she owns. And one of her pimps moves in with her and starts getting her hooked on heroin again, or down, which is just fentanyl. And from there, that's when things started getting worse. That's when the squatters moved in. And from there, you know, a picture will say 1,000 words, but they stole everything that was worth more than $5. I'm guessing over $3 million worth of assets from my house. You know, washer, dryer, skidoo, snowblower, my kids' Pokemon cards, silverware, clothing, broke windows, put holes in walls. The girl that I hired to take care of the bed and breakfast, this was before things got crazy, because she was being lied to by her ex-drug dealer, trying to pimp her out. So I gave her a job. I said, hey, if you can do this, like, you're smart, like, you got to finish your degree. You're one year away from your degree, but in the meantime, do you want to run this bed and breakfast? You can have this small one-bedroom place. I can travel, and you can do this. Like, so let's get it all ready. Here's a couple months, and here's the website, da-da-da-da. Here, we'll get all the bills put to you, you know, so you can manage them, everything. And I kept paying her, and guess what happened there? She didn't pay any of the bills. She took the money, and it was step two. Step two. Moved on to just this other young guy that addiction, mental health issues, you know, judgment on him, and he needed some help, and I was the guy that I'd give anybody help. So I tried to let him run his mobile auto detailing business out of my house, and like an awesome business he used to have until drugs got the better of him. And that's when I lost my house to this guy that has swung a machete at my head, pepper sprayed me more than twice, tried to run me down with a car for 15 minutes, throwing a piece of 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch OSB through a bay window while I was writing at my desk, tried to kill me with a knife multiple times, and pretty connected to the police and other organized crime syndicates. I've had a boat stolen, skidoo, you name it, pots, pans, my wife's hair things, you know, my kids' stuff. Like I said, it was over $5. These people took it and stole it and sold it for drugs. I had people overdosing in my house. And guess what happened to the first person that overdosed? This was the girl I hired to manage my bed and breakfast. She overdosed. Yeah, they tried to overdose me too. They put some fentanyl and cocaine. And hey, I will be honest with you, I have used drugs. I don't use them often. I haven't used for a long time. And I'm not totally an abstainer that thinks that's the way the world's going to work. But yeah, they tried to kill me with fentanyl. Didn't work. But anyway, this girl, she overdosed, was dead for over 10 minutes. Ambulance comes, they got her back to life. 2.5 hours later, she decides to check herself out of the hospital because she's so addicted to water, they call it, which is GHB, date rape drug, and walks back to the house. Who is in her house already going through all her stuff? They thought she was goner. All of her friends. And what do they give her? Oh, they give her some more drugs just to get her back in. Happy to see she's alive. Yeah. That's the lifestyle that's going on here right now. And it is way more than you think. And that's the lifestyle that I was trying to put a dent in. And you know, so here's what I do. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know it sounds crazy because I sell something. And I sell something that is within you. You already have it. And you just long lost the key to get it. And I'm here to help you find it again. I sell hope. That's right. I sell the key to hope. The hope that you need to prevent dying from the only 3 things that people die of, and that's boredom, loneliness, and isolation. And there's a lot of uncertainty and anxiety in the world right now. And that's probably because you're void or detached from your true purpose. You got no internal motivation, or maybe you're selling time for money, or maybe money is your only motivation. Either way, it's not the real motivation. You're not operating, fulfilling your God-given gift, adding value to other people's lives by doing what you do better than anybody else. And because of that, you feel a little empty. And I help you get full again. Full with the Holy Spirit. Full with this untouchable presence. The cars bounce off around your energy. You don't believe me? You should watch me walk. It is like I'm talking buses. I'm like, I don't even look anymore. I've been walking across the street sometimes with my eyes closed, just getting cocky. I'll ride a bike down the street with my eyes closed, no hands on the wheel, and I can hear cars and traffic, and it's like, man, I got protection. I got protection. Nobody's even honking their horn. And now I can't stop. I don't have a choice. But what I do have a choice is to pick a different target audience. You see, I picked a very impoverished target audience, and it has put me into poverty. And like attracts like, and opposites repel, and I'm telling you, these people kind of repel me. I'd rather help them make more money. I'm more of a big money kind of person, to make big changes and big impacts on a lot of people's lives. And so that's why I'm super excited to be saying, hi, welcome to the Church of Now, and let me give away what I give, which is a self-improvement program to help you find your long-lost sense of help or hope. And you are going to get reconnected with your 4-year-old, your 7-year-old self, back when your theta waves were, popping and you never knew the words impossible or can't. And we are going to teach you to pray, we're going to teach you to meditate, we're going to teach you to ground and connect and let the energy and the universal power, because I don't know if you want to say the word God, if you don't like the word God or Buddha or Timbuktu or Waheguru, I don't care what you call it. I just call it the world star, and I call it energy. And when you let that energy come into you, you become this magnificent force field that bad energy just bounces off of. They run, they cower. And that bad energy is that gray energy. And if you don't know what your value proposition is, if you don't know what you're here to do, that is gray energy within you. And it will allow fear in. And when you got fear in, they eat it up and they spit you out. But when you start to realize that you have no fear, and when you become fearless, because the Holy Spirit, as Todd White calls it, is inside of you, there is nothing to be fearful of. And all of a sudden, the demons and the devils and the bad energies that are out there, they see it. And they don't even run away. They're just like, why did you come here? Why are you making this hard on me? Why? So I ain't doing nothing. Do it yourself. But that's a whole nother chapter. I got a lot of things to do. I got to figure out how to pack my house like in the next 3 days that is just like destroyed. There's needles, there's drugs, everything. I got to figure out how to get a lawyer to press charges against a bank, RCMP, City of Kelowna. I got to press multiple civil charges, about 10 of them. I've got to file reports for my identity fraud, get my identity back because it's stolen. I have to figure out traveling, and then I have to figure out where I'm going to be because I've been homeless for 6 weeks now. And then I got to figure out how to, how to survive and how to see my kids. And here's what I do know. I'll get it done. So, I may be asking for your help, but trust me, when I ask for your help, I give you something back in return. Right now, money would be a useful thing, and I'd like to give you some money too. I do that with a couple different mediums, a couple different metrics. One of them is cryptocurrency. I set you up with FINTRAC regulated accounts that you can trust just as much as the Royal Bank or the chartered banks in Canada. They're FINTRAC regulated. I set you up with those accounts, and by me setting you up and using my affiliate link, I get money and you get money, and we both win. And that is how business should be done. Welcome to the Church Now self-improvement system. A church is not a church governed by Bibles that aren't Bibles. And I love what Todd White said, Christian terrorists. That's right, baby, because I live karmically. Karma ain't no fucking bank account where you can expect good deeds. If you do good deeds, you expect good things to happen, or bad things to bad people. When they do bad things to you, you say karma's a bitch. Fuck that. Karma's a full-time, hardcore action sport. It is the way you live. It is the way you breathe. It is the way you are. And I want to teach you how to connect. I want to teach you how to let the Spirit into you. Because it can be done. And people like Joe Dispenza are starting to prove scientifically ways and techniques to do it. And now for that curious mind of ours that has always gotten us into so much trouble asking questions that didn't need to be asked, now we can prove it to you if you want. I'd rather just teach it to you and let you experience it for yourself. So there's some investment opportunities that are going to come out. And then there's some courses. And I plan on traveling. I want to go to a few different spots before I see my kids. I'm going to have to bounce around some COVID ideas, some COVID circles. And I do want to see whether the city of Kelowna wants to set precedent and become a leader of Canada and the world this Christmas, or whether they just want to go to war with somebody who's got the Holy Spirit in them. You know, I know what I would do. And war is never the right answer. God bless you, namaste, whatever it is that you got to say. Sat Sri Akal, whatever. Be kind, love yourself, peace be with you. Boom, shakalaka.